Hey guys, I just want to do a real quick video. I'm going to call this one Real Stories of the Highway. I won't call it Real Stories of the Highway Patrol because it's already been used before. And I'm not actually a police officer anymore, but we'll call it Real Stories of the Highway. So, two stories. First one I got to tell you, I was traveling on Interstate 64 right inside Virginia today. And there was a car accident which had the lane blocked into one. There's two lanes and only one lane was operable. So it was about a mile long traffic, and it was bumper to bumper for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And I kept noticing cars going on the emergency road on the side, the access. And there was this white Chrysler 300 that was there, and I don't know, she just kind of had that funny look. And as I got closer to the accident scene, by the time I got up there, the Virginia State Highway Patrolman had actually stopped her. And of course, you know, I'm traveling. It took me a good 2 or 3 minutes to get up there, but I saw the whole thing. He actually grabbed her and pulled her out Dukes of Hazzard style, just like you would imagine what Dukes of Hazzard style is. And he was giving her a verbal talking. And again, I don't know where it went to from there, but I just thought that was kind of comical and I wanted to talk about it. The other incident that I thought was really funny and strange, and again, we've talked about this before with the influx of, you know, foreign drivers coming over that can't speak English. Not going to go into details what descent he was, but he was of another country. And the other night when I started my night around 2 a.m. I do a lot of night driving, but I started my night around 2 a.m., got a shower, got into the truck, and as I was walking to the truck, I noticed a driver circling around. And at nighttime, if you're not a truck driver, you know it's kind of hard sometimes to find a truck spot. And if I'm going to be leaving, I try to catch a driver that's looking for a spot. And he was getting out of his truck. I walked over to him. I said, "Hey, I'm leaving here in about 2 or 3 minutes if you want to take my spot." And he looked at me stumped, like, "Excuse me?" He didn't say excuse me, but had that look like, "Excuse me?" I said, "Hey, I'm leaving if you want my spot." And he still didn't understand. Eventually, he said, "No English, no English, no English." And he's not Hispanic, so I might be saying it wrong how he said it, but he said no English. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So again, another true story of how we're dealing with stuff. And granted, you know, you need to speak the English language in order to have a CDL. How are these people getting CDLs? You know, there's only one way, obviously, and they're passing just about anybody they possibly can. And with me training with Swift, and I'm not saying that Swift does it, you know, most companies do, and there's reasons behind it, and I'm sure there's money involved with the government and other entities, I'm sure, but I can't tell you how many students that I had that had problems speaking English language too. And you know, one person in particular was from Africa, and actually I had two guys from Africa, believe it or not, and both great guys, got along with both of them with no issues, no problems, but there was obviously a little bit of a dialect between the two of us trying to understand stuff. And it got to the point to where one of the guys had a very strange diet. He was an ex-soccer player, had a very strange diet. And anybody that's a truck driver knows that our options are very limited at eating. And when you're running as a team, which, you know, I tried to once the position was right and I felt comfortable with the driver, you know, you try to, you know, if you're not running as a team, you're sitting in the passenger seat with them while you're resting, and then both of you are taking a 10-hour break. But anyway, he went for 3 days without eating because he refused to eat any of the food. And again, you know, truck stops are all fast food restaurants. And again, I try to refrain from as much of it as I can, but there are times when you're running hard, you just don't have time to stop and cook a meal. I try to cook a meal at the end of the night when I stop, or the end of the morning, or whatever my shift is. When the shift ends, I try to cook. But the other times, you know, breakfast or lunch or something like that, you know, you got to pick something up on the road, and that's just the way it goes. But anyway, that's what we're dealing with, guys. And I don't see anything changing. We're dealing with the influx of foreign drivers. We're dealing with really poor rates right now. That doesn't matter if, and again, the rates don't matter if you're on a per mile like Swift is or other companies, or if you're doing it by the percentage or you know, by the rate or as an all-in revenue like what I'm doing now. It doesn't matter. Off rate is slow right now, and that's just something that we have to deal with and just overcome. And you know, only the strongest survive, as we see. Again, I talked about some of the YouTubers. Another YouTuber came out yesterday and said he's done, he's packing it in, and doesn't really know what he's going to do right now. And he's a YouTuber that I've been following for about 4 years. Ever since he got started, I followed his journey, and he seems like a good guy. I'm not going to mention his name or anything, but you know, kudos to him. He gave it a shot and tried, but you know, and what he was doing wrong, in my opinion, is he was trying to base what the market was 2 to 3 years ago, and unfortunately he got out of trucking for, you know, a brief period, maybe a year or something, and got back into it. Well, unfortunately, the way things are, things change, especially in a year in trucking, especially with what we're going through. Not even with what we're going through, you know, everything changes on a daily basis. You got to be on guard. You got to do your research. I actually never really watched YouTube until I started getting into the trucking business, but honestly, that's where you get most of your education from some of these drivers. You try to believe what you can and try to go with what you can. Not all of them try to steer you in the right way, so you got to be real selective on who you follow. I try to put out the best information that I have possible. I usually don't go over any money on my situation, because it's my, you know, private life. Somebody wants to know any compensation they get paid, you know, like I always say, they can, you know, contact me through email, and it's real easy. Email flyrabbit@mail.com, not Gmail, but mail.com. I try to put it in the listing on all the videos. I don't always. Bear with me, this is still new to me. Even though I've got a few videos out now, it's still new to me. I'm figuring the game out. By the way, the video I did 48 hours ago is sitting at 2,300 views, and I don't know how or why that video really struck up. And I've also gained like 50 subscribers in the last 48 hours, which is really strange. Again, you know, I'm figuring these things out as I go along, and I want to continue to grow this channel. I'd like to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers, you know, by the end of June if it's possible. And honestly, the way it's going, I mean, it might even happen before the end of this month. But my goal was just to get, you know, to 1,000 by the end of June. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or a problem, but I'm sure trying. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Sitting here doing a pre-trip. I just did my pre-trip. I'm kind of just watching the parking lot here for a few minutes, deciding what I'm going to do. Got a little short haul going down to Charlotte from where I'm at in Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about 167 miles away, so it's a little bit under 3 hours. Going to take that load. I don't think it's real heavy, if I remember correctly. I booked this, you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. And it's going to right outside of Birmingham, Alabama. So just a little short day hop. It's roughly 500 miles. I don't think I'll be able to get the whole drive in because it's going to be close to 600 miles. And not only that, it doesn't, I don't think it delivers until tomorrow anyway. So I'll be stopping somewhere on the western side of Atlanta for the night. Maybe into Alabama. But that's what I got going on. And after that, I got a little short haul that I pick up somewhere in Tennessee. I don't really remember. It's a little bit short of a deadhead, 150 miles or so deadhead to this one too. And that one's going right outside of New Orleans, Lacombe, Louisiana, I believe is where it's going to. Other than that, I'm pretty much free after Saturday. I haven't really booked anything yet. I'm still looking. Again, the rates are garbage. I'm trying to find the best loads possible, and quite frankly, I've actually had better luck booking loads, you know, 1 or 2 out and just waiting to see what happens. When I booked them a week in advance, they just, I don't know. 2 months ago, that worked really well. like I said, things change on a daily basis, but now it seems that you're better off just waiting, honestly. Again, you know, it's very, very fickle market right now on how you do things. Just when you think you're doing something right, it turns out to be wrong. I know I said I don't talk about numbers or anything, but I actually had a pretty decent week last week. I grossed close to $5,500, which is one of the bigger ones that I've had. And that's all revenue too. There was no bonus in there, nothing. A lot of driving. I did over 3,000 miles that week, but you know, unfortunately in this market, you're going to do some deadhead miles to make a little bit of money, and that's what I proved. Kept my fuel down. Fuel was under $1,100 for the week. I try to stay somewhere between $900 and $1,200 in fuel. $1,200 obviously being, you know, closer to 3,000 miles, but I set myself up pretty good the previous week on fuel. So I had like a half a tank when I started, so that helped a little bit on this. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. It's 3:30 in the morning, getting ready to start getting rolling here. I'm going to try and beat the Charlotte traffic, and then hopefully once my appointment's at 10 a.m., I'm hoping that they'll load me early and I can get through Atlanta before, you know, after rush hour, you know, somewhere. I'm hoping that I'm rolling by 10 or 11 a.m. and then I can just scoot through Atlanta with no problem. I've got a little stop in between Greenville, South Carolina and Atlanta that I stop at to eat. So I'll try to take a 30-minute break there and get some lunch, and then try to finish as much of that drive as I can. It just depends on how it goes with the traffic, because I really would like to beat the Atlanta traffic somehow. That's it, guys. Any questions, as always, email me, leave a comment. Appreciate all the comments. Comments have been really good. Nothing really negative. A lot of guys are supporting what I've got going on. I think a lot of people are jumping on because they realize that I have an SFI truck now. A lot of people want to know, you know, if it's worth it. You know, can you make money? You know, I'm not recruiting anybody at this point, just like I said in the last video, but at the same token, I strongly suggest everybody get an SFI truck. If you've got a company that you can go to and you're pretty comfortable, you can make money, to me, in my opinion, I think SFI is the way to go. I'm not knocking anybody that buys a used truck. It worked for me and what my goals were. I didn't want any downtime for repairs or anything like that. So, you know, and I know new trucks break down too, but you know, the good thing about that is most of the stuff under warranty, and usually warranty work, in my opinion, gets done quicker than, you know, the other type of work. Not always true, but most of the time. And most of the stuff is backed by the factory. So anyway, that's what I do, and I know everybody wants to know what the SFI journey's like, and to me, I've got nothing but A+s on the SFI journey. Schneider journey so far, if I really had to rate it, I'd give it a strong C+, B-. It's not been perfect, but again, you know, out of all the companies that I've been to, you know, they are on the top of the list. And actually, the last 3 companies that I've been to, I don't really have anything negative to say. It's just, it was a stepping stone to each place. The Christensen thing didn't work out. A lot of people ask a lot of questions about Christensen. Great company. It just didn't meet my needs money-wise, financially. And the same thing with Swift. Swift was a great company really to get your feet wet. And anybody that wants to get into this world and start something out, I think Swift's a great place to start. But if you really want to step up your game and you want to do something bigger and better, you know, you can't go wrong with an SFI truck, in my opinion. You know, and again, I could be eating my words a month from now, who knows? But you know, it seems to work. I've been taken very well care of. I feel like they give you, I don't want to call it a white glove service, but you know, hits first oil changed. I got pushed to the front somehow. I don't know how that works, but I did. Not that I was going to be waiting long anyways, but it was very simple and very easy to use. Transferring the truck is easy to do to different companies if that's what you want to do. Again, you know, everything's been good. You know, comment, like, subscribe, give me comments, questions, anything. Most people notice that when they comment, I try to respond as quickly as possible to anything and everything. So again, thanks for the journey. Thanks for the follow. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll try to put another video out, through the weekend or maybe the first of next week. Everybody have a good evening. Good night.